Hello everyone, I am a life of love. Today, we are not only listening. You will always be underestimated by someone who doesn't know your worth until your silence becomes the loudest thunder they've ever heard. And on the day of her wedding, she was supposed to glow. She was supposed to walk down that aisle with grace wrapped around her like silk, love pouring from every breath she took. But instead, she stood under a rain of scorn, each word hurled like stone, from the very person meant to welcome her into the family. The mother-in-law. A matriarch cloaked in status, with a mouth sharper than diamonds and a heart armored in pride. She looked at the bride like she was filth under polished shoes. Her voice echoed through the cathedral, cruel and calculated, loud enough for every soul in the room to hear. She doesn't belong in our family. Not a whisper. A declaration. Public and cold. The room froze. The groom clenched his fists. The bride lowered her eyes. And in that moment, we witnessed something extraordinary. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She didn't explain herself or plead for acceptance. She smiled. A small, knowing smile. The kind that belongs to someone who has already climbed 1,000 invisible mountains. The kind that says, you think I need your approval? I built kingdoms while you were sleeping. That's the thing about power. Real power doesn't scream. It doesn't beg. It doesn't tremble when it's questioned. Real power waits. It listens. It learns. And then it shows you who it is when the time is right. You see, people will judge you not by who you are, but by who they think you are. And far too often, those judgments come from their own fears, not your failures. Her mother-in-law didn't see a brilliant woman who had built an empire from scratch, who had carried her family on her back, who had negotiated multi-million-dollar deals behind boardroom doors. No. She saw a pretty face with a simple dress and a quiet mouth. A woman with no last name worth bragging about. Someone who, in her mind, had married up. But this story is for everyone who's ever been judged by surface appearances. Everyone who's ever walked into a room and felt smaller because someone else needed to feel taller. This is for the quiet fighters. The humble warriors. The ones who don't flash their victories but wear their scars like medals beneath their clothes. Because there's something unstoppable about a person who doesn't fight back with noise, but with elevation. And elevation is silent. It happens when you decide to stop shrinking to fit in rooms not built for your destiny. When you stop begging people to value you and start valuing yourself so deeply, rejection becomes redirection. It happens when your worth becomes non-negotiable. She didn't defend herself because she didn't have to. Because the truth has a way of unveiling itself with time, and time was on her side. She walked down that aisle not as a victim, but as a vision. Not as someone shattered by shame, but as someone made indestructible by the fire that tried to consume her. And as the vows were spoken and sealed with a kiss, her groom looked at her not with pity, but pride. Because he knew. He knew who she was. He had seen the 3 a.m. strategy calls. He had watched her care for others when no one was watching. He had witnessed her resilience when others would have crumbled. But more than that, he had fallen in love not just with the woman she was, but with the woman she was becoming. And it wasn't until the reception, when the father of the bride took the microphone, that the room truly woke up. With calm pride, he began, I want to thank everyone for being here today. And I especially want to thank my daughter, who taught me that success isn't about noise, it's about purpose. Whispers filled the room. Curious eyes glanced between tables. He continued, most of you don't know this, but the woman you just watched walk down the aisle built a company now valued at $40 million. She did it without loans. Without favors. Without compromising who she was. Gasps. Eyes widened. The same mouths that had doubted her now hung open. And then, he said it. And next month, she will officially take over as CEO. The room went silent. The mother-in-law went pale. And in that silence, something shifted. Not just respect. Reverence. Because people had seen the crown now. But the truth is, it was always there. Sometimes we hide our light because the world has taught us to dim it. Because we're told that humility means invisibility. That strength must be loud. That softness is weakness. But no. Softness is strategy. Restraint is wisdom. And the most dangerous person in any room is the one who has nothing to prove. So when they laugh at you, let them. When they mock you, observe. When they underestimate you, smile. Because one day, they'll realize they were standing in the presence of someone rare. Someone refined by rejection, not ruined by it. Someone who used every stone thrown at her to build a foundation so solid that no insult could shake her. And if you're listening to this, maybe you're that someone too. Maybe you're tired of being dismissed, overlooked, or defined by people who haven't lived a day in your skin. Maybe you've swallowed your voice just to keep peace. Maybe you've been told you're too much and not enough in the same breath. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. You were meant to rise. You were meant to shake rooms not with volume, but with presence. You were meant to walk in purpose so boldly that even the stones in your path become stepping stones. And when they try to humiliate you, remember this. The greatest revenge is not anger. It's not confrontation. It is becoming so powerful, so full of grace, so untouchably excellent, that even those who doubted you can no longer speak your name without respect. So rise. Not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. Because the bride didn't need revenge. She didn't need validation. She became the lesson. And some people only learn once the damage is already done.